They said it wasn't humanly possible. All the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. Introducing Game Boy. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable. Game Boy comes complete with batteries and the outrageous new game Tetris. And for head-to-head competition, use Video Link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, portable power.
How about that intro, huh? Blast from the past. Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Ozzy, and I'm back again with another video for you guys. Today I got a special video that, in my opinion, I think is pretty special. It's a Game Boy video because the Game Boy just turned 30 years old last week on Sunday, April 21st, 1989. I forgot what year we were on. 1989. And they just turned 30 years old, and I thought I'd make a cool little video on showing you guys my Game Boy collection and maybe showing a little story that I have with the Game Boy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ozzy's tech and stuff, yeah. Alright guys, so first up is the original Game Boy. The DMG original Game Boy. I have a lot of memories with this thing, but basically I remember just begging my mom to get me this for Christmas. I don't believe it was the year it came out, maybe a couple years later, because I was just a toddler when it came out. But I do remember that I begged my mom to get me this after I saw my uncle have one, and I just thought that, you know, how is this possible? How can you play a video game on, you know, a handheld? I can take it anywhere. So I begged my mom, and she finally got me one, I believe, for Christmas. And this thing, as you can see here, this is not the back cover. It won't focus, but this is not the back cover. I actually lost it and used another back cover from another one that I have. But this one will do for now. It keeps it closed. But this is my original Game Boy from back in the day. And I don't really play it too much because I have, you know, some upgrades now, but I just remember just, you know, spending a lot of battery, wasting a lot of battery, asking my mom to buy me batteries after batteries with this thing, because it did take 4 batteries, and it takes 4 AA batteries. So I remember just asking my mom to buy me games, and, you know, if I was good, if I brought home good grades and stuff like that, then she was able to purchase games for me, and also batteries, because this thing would go through batteries like crazy. And side note, I did have a Game Gear, and let's not talk about eating batteries, and that's a separate video if I ever make one. So yeah, Game Gear, no. So like I said, a lot of fond memories of this thing, and I just remembered, you know, playing Tetris on it, and I was just a little bit too young to understand Tetris. They did have Zelda on here and Mario on here, and I was just a little too young to really complete any games, or, you know, Zelda had puzzles. I couldn't really beat Zelda back in the day as a kid, but I did play it. I played a lot of Tetris, even though I sucked at it, and I still do suck at it. Shout out to Tetris 99. That's a really good game on the Switch. If you don't have it, get it. The original Game Boy, amazing, pioneer. Without this Game Boy, there would be no Switch. There would probably be no handhelds, because this is what made handheld gaming so popular. There was other handheld systems out there, but this one was so popular. I believe when it released, it was like $90, $89.99 in the US, and I think around now it would probably be around $150 with inflation. But that's not bad for a handheld, and a lot of people were able to get this for Christmas. A lot of kids, a lot of parents gifted this. So, you know, pioneer right here. So like I said, I didn't play too much of the Game Boy because it took so many batteries, 4 AA batteries. The games were kind of difficult for me to play, and later on I was able to get my hands on the Game Boy Pocket. Now, this isn't my original Game Boy Pocket. This Game Boy Pocket I was able to get off of eBay probably like maybe 2 years ago. The seller said that the power switch would work sometimes, and there was a big stain in the middle of the screen inside of this glass protector. So I was able to buy it, I think, for like $5 or $6. And the seller said it worked, but it didn't always work. Maybe something with the connection. And I thought, hey, I'll take a look at it. I'll see if I can fix it. And lo and behold, when I received it, I pulled this thing apart and just put on some alcohol in the connection, and now it kind of works, almost every time. And I don't have batteries in there. Give me a second. All right, so I just put in 2 AAA batteries, which is a lot more manageable than 4 AA. And like I mentioned before, the seller did say that that the power switch wouldn't work, and when I put some rubbing alcohol on it, it basically fixed it, and it's able to turn on every single time. When I open it, I cleaned out the inside, I cleaned the buttons. It was very nasty. It was a very big stain back here, and I was able to go ahead and clean that off and basically, restore this to almost brand new. So I'm very happy how it came out, and this was basically the console that kind of took off for me, and I'll explain to you why in a second. But let's go ahead and hear that sweet sound. Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so I was able to basically fix this console, and like I mentioned, on this one was where I started to pick up gaming, and because a particular game, Pokemon. You see it? Pokemon. Now, I did have Pokemon Red back in the day. I remember going to class, and I remember seeing a kid, and he had Pokemon Red on his Game Boy, and I asked, hey, that looks cool. What is that? And he said Pokemon. And for some reason, he was like, do you want it? And I was very young at the time. I was like, are you sure? And he's, yeah, do you want it? I have another one. I'm not sure that he knew the saves are stuck in there. I happily accepted the donation because I barely played my Game Boy Pocket at the time, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I had a silver one. It's not this one. I had a silver one. And after the donation from my good buddy, which I don't remember, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but thank you. He gave me Pokemon Red, and then I went to a buddy's house, and he had Pokemon Blue, and we started just playing on Pokemon, trading, battling, and it was a hell of a time, guys. After the Game Boy Pocket, I was able to get a Game Boy Color. Again, this is not the original Game Boy Color I had. The original one I had was the Kiwi Color. I was able to purchase this one off of eBay. Again, dirt cheap, probably $11 from seller that just wanted to get rid of it. And it's a little dinged up, a little bit scratched up. The same thing, I took it apart and I cleaned the parts, and then I put it back together. And it's pretty good. The screen is scratched a little bit, but it works. And I also did a lot of gaming on here. This is where Pokemon Silver, I believe, was released. I think it was the color. Silver was color. Yeah, I think so. Alright, so I played a lot of Pokemon Silver on this one. Again, took to my buddy's house. We would battle, trade, all that good stuff with Pokemon. And I would just play this thing for hours. This one did go back up to AA batteries, 2 AA batteries, not 4 this time. But it has the famous bump here, which would actually be a little bit, come on, focus over here, would actually be pretty cool for resting your fingers on to play the game. So this one was pretty cool, but it was color, and it didn't have a color screen, and it was very difficult. I remember my mom would take me, especially with the Game Boy Pocket, my mom would take me to her choir practice for church, and I would just sit in a lightly dimmed hallway or stairway and just position myself at the right angle to get some light to be able to play Pokemon. And Pokemon was like the game that I played the most on these things. Next up, Nintendo did release the Game Boy Advance. That was the first basically change into the cartridge size. It increased in graphics. You can really show what games could do. I actually have a Game Boy Advance game here. It's Tetris for the Game Boy Advance, and just so you guys can see the difference between the cartridges, and I'm sure a bunch of you know, but just so you guys can see, here's the difference between the cartridges, and this is the original Game Boy. Basically, Game Boy Color games were like this, and then here, this is the Game Boy Advance cartridge, so it was a little bit smaller, and now we have the Switch, which is, minuscule. So I don't own a Game Boy Advance, unfortunately. I will be looking on eBay to see if I can score one on the cheaps. But I don't have too many fond memories of that. I think around that time I kind of stopped playing Pokemon. I got Pokemon fatigue. I think I maybe started middle school around that time too, so I had other priorities. I stopped playing Pokemon around that time, and it wasn't until recently when Pokemon Go came out that it basically ignited my Pokemon fandom. But Pokemon Go was really cool because it got everyone out there socializing, having fun. But let's talk about Game Boy stuff. So like I mentioned, I don't have the Game Boy Advance, but after the Game Boy Advance, Nintendo did release the Game Boy SP. Now, this was not my original Game Boy SP. I actually had the Onyx Black one. Don't know what happened to it. My mom must have sent it over to her home country or whatnot, but a friend of mine actually gave me this one, but it was the Cobalt Blue one. It was all scratched up. I ordered this shell from eBay, and I was able to do a complete shell exchange, and this thing is magnificent. Now, I'm a pretty big Zelda fan and a Link fan, if you haven't noticed by that right there. I have it on my Switch. I just think they're fantastic adventure games that are just made really well, and I wanted to get this. You can't see it, but I'll do the B-rolls. I wanted to basically have this one as a memory of Zelda, and it's just it looks so good. So I still kind of play this one off and on. I play a lot of Tetris DX on here, or I'll play Links to the Past on here, Minish Cap. I'll play on here, and you know, just an hour, 30 minutes every so often, but I don't really play this too much. I actually keep this one next to my nightstand because this is just the most handiest one I have, and it was the first one that Nintendo did do a rechargeable battery. So no more thank you, Nintendo, no more having to put physical AA and AAA batteries in here. This one was the first one that had a built-in rechargeable battery. It does have a proprietary port, but you know, at least they give us that, and now we have rechargeable batteries with USB Type-C on the Switch. So thank you, Nintendo. And last but certainly not least, I did purchase this a couple years ago. This is the Kung Fang GB Boy Color. This is basically a Chinese knockoff of the Game Boy, but this thing is actually pretty cool. Not only does it have built-in games in it, but it does have again, no batteries. What the hell, man? Alright, we got the batteries installed. I went ahead and turned it on, but this is a game, like I mentioned before, this is a Game Boy Color rip-off system, but it does have backlit screen. Oh, and that's something that I forgot about to mention about the Game Boy SP. That was the first system that introduced a frontlit screen, so it's not as good as a backlit screen, but it does have some light, so we're able to play it in dark places. How can I forget that? Right. So this one does have a backlit screen, very, very good screen. The only thing is that the aspect ratio is a little off, but if you can see past that, you can actually play a lot of games that, you know, Game Boy Color games, all that. You can play it on here in a beautiful, beautiful lit screen. This one is probably, this one and the Game Boy SP are my go-tos whenever I just want a little piece of nostalgia and being able to play some of these games that I grew up with. Alright guys, so that's my Game Boy collection. I thought it'd be pretty cool to do a video like this for the Game Boy's 30th anniversary last Sunday, and it definitely took me down memory lane with all these memories that I was able to remember, basically all the good times that I had with these systems, and I'm gonna cherish having these and basically periodically go back and play games on these. Game Boy, happy birthday, brother. 30 years old. Alright guys, so that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, help me out with a like and a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'm gonna go ahead and link my Instagram as well, so if you want to follow me on Instagram to get to know me a little bit better, I post a lot of memes and just random stuff, so if you're into that, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Until the next one, peace.